Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Soko Anime back with another video, and today I'll be bringing you what if Deku had Bon's abilities. Now, the day of Deku's quirk awakening, day before Bakugo's, it's called Snatch. It can steal objects from people, and he originally awakens it by grabbing off a pencil off another small child. And they go to he gets the day off to go to the quirk doctor, and they find out about Snatch being his ability and his also having physical hunt and all that, pretty much everything except Bond's immortality, which I will get to later. And well, he goes home. He goes back home, celebrating getting a quirk that he thought could do good, or something at least, even if it seemed a little bit villainous. And, well, the next day, Bakugo's quirk awakened, but he accidentally hits Zuko, and, well, he goes home, because of quirk awakening to get it checked, plus he injured another student. Zuko goes to the nurse's office, and is kind of wondering why is his mom and dad not coming to get him? By the way, his dad is around for this, or at least temporarily, because it's a what if, everything's speculation, so, uh, I mean, everything's speculation, so, it's not like that's not as unimaginable as all the other abilities people give him. So, but back to the what if, right, so he wonders why, until he finds out his father has died in a car crash. That's kind of why his mother was not responding. And, well, he pretty much goes. Eventually, his mom goes and gets him. They kind of go home. She cries for a while. He cries. And in the morning, at around 9 o'clock, she throws herself off the roof of the apartment. And, well, Izuku finds her body. And he's the first one to find a body. And he drops to his knees crying. People kind of hear this and kind of think, what's going on? Why is there a kid crying? But then they see, because I mean, this is an apartment complex. I'd say most people know most people in there, and they know about Izuku's dad's death, and now they see that his mother has committed suicide, and he found the body. Oh, he was there. They don't know, but he did not see the actual thing. He found the body. Which, I mean, I guess that's a bonus, but that's a good thing, but still, I mean, it's better than before, but at least now, I mean, I guess he didn't see it, which could have been worse. People call it in, people call the authorities, and just whatever. They pretty much, he gets put up for adoption. He does not, return to school, but he is adopted by a man named Shivago with a permanent mutation quirk that is constant. It is Werefox. He's pretty much constant Werefox. Because plot. Now this I know that actually I think actually I think this is this is my second time recording it. The first one was a bit closer to someone else's, but this is a bit off. A bit different to it. Pretty much Zuko is put Shivago adopts him. Shivago is generally poor, and well, he does kind of steal to put food on the table and just make ends meet, but he does have a regular job and all. just not a high-paying one. And well, what was I gonna say? Right, he is generally poor. He does not have a. He has a deceased son who died. I don't know. Let's say in a villain attack. He died in a villain attack, and pretty much they've both lost everything family-wise. Because the son, Zhivago's son and wife both died in a villain attack, and well, Deku's lost everything as well. And so he takes pity on the child and adopts him. He tells Deku that it's best not to steal with that, or just generally don't go into a life of crime. But Deku promptly tells him, I want to become a hero, the number one hero, and surpass All Might. Zhivago thinks that this is kind of good to hear, because, because he had the quirk explained to him as like, oh, this could be used for crime. Oh no, is this kid gonna be a bad egg, per se? But no, cheerful kid trying to get over the loss of his parents. And pretty much he eventually, when Izuku is 9, he tells him of, the legend of the Fountain of Youth. A fountain that, if drunken from, grants immortality. But he doesn't really know the exact bits. All he knows is that, and anyway, to him, it's just a myth. But a year later, when Izuku is 10, Zhivago saves up enough money to go on a short vacation up in the mountains at the very top of Japan. Now, I really do not know the geography of Japan, so please don't hate me if that's nowhere near accurate. It probably isn't accurate at all. I'm just going to say at the top of Japan, it's mountains and forests. So, yeah, he goes there. They have a cabin, and on the final day, they go exploring a bit further, because the legend also with the Fountain of Youth that it is guarded by a spirit, and it's guarded by a spirit, and is extremely hard to find and to get to. So, which is mainly true, but they somehow find it. They will find a forest within the mountains, with one massive tree in the middle. But on their way up, because they decided, hey, we may as well climb this, because they remembered the Fountain of Youth story, they think, hey, maybe it is the Fountain of Youth. But on the way up, about 10 meters up, they kind of get hit with a gust of wind that knocks them down, and they luckily fall onto trees and survive. And, well, I mean, that was pretty lucky, they think, but they also think that it's very windy, better go down, better go back. I mean, this was the final day, plus they didn't have that much time, so they had to get back. And, well, they think it was just a gust of wind, but it was. Probably not going to call her Elaine, but for now, I will just say Elaine when it comes back to it. Yeah, so he's 10, and pretty much when he gets back, Muscular, we're just gonna say, is randomly robbing houses. He comes up to that house, knocks on the door, or actually smashes the door down and punches the wall. Says, give me your money, and Zhivago's like, we're super poor, we don't really have anything. And Muscular kills Zhivago, which kind of angers Deku, but in the end, Muscular leaves before anyone can get there, the authorities, whatever. But much to Izuku's dismay, no one comes, no one helps, no one checks in on how he's doing. He's completely alone again, like he was before. And now he had lost everything again. All the parental figures he's ever had died, just as he got off, and just about when he'd got over the first two deaths, another occurs. And, well, he survives for 2 years, thieving, and stealing to survive. But stays in the house. And I mean, as I said, no one ever comes and checks on him, so... Well, I mean, he buried Shivago. Well, actually, he kind of found a way to preserve him, let's say, and eventually decided, you know what, I will take him up to the mountains where we once went. I will bury him there. With all the money he had gotten, plus the money he had actually recently found in Shivago's safe, which wasn't actually a lot, but it was still a decent amount. And he somehow transported Shivago's body up there and buried it buried it very near to the cabin, and even made a gravestone of sorts. He aligns Shivago, whatever age, can't remember his last name if he had one, pretty much makes a grave for him, and then remembers, hey, the Fountain of Youth, maybe I can go there. Maybe it is true, maybe I should return. And he checks, and it's not at all windy, so he decides, you know what, let's do it. And then he goes, because he remembers it pretty well, even if it was 2 years ago. And eventually, when he arrives there, he climbs it, and when he reaches the top, he sees a young girl and a girl that looks about his age, which is 12, but is actually is actually hundreds. Wait, let's say she looks 13, maybe 14. But as we know, she is hundreds of years old, the protector of the Fountain of Youth. And he's like, oh my god, this is the Guardian. She says, begone, and knocks him away with wind, magic, or whatever you want to call it. It's definitely not a quirk. But he does that, and it's pretty much a similar dynamic to Bon and Elaine, till eventually Elaine, well, not actually going to call her Elaine, but it's Elaine for now, because that's easiest, asks him, why the hell do you keep coming back, and how the hell do you survive? And he says, well, the forest saved me, I guess. She's like, what? The forest saved you? And, but like, how's that possible? You're just a mere human. Because, I mean, she's like the only, let's just say she's the only fairy left. Even if she doesn't have wings, she can still float and all that. She's the only fairy left. But then she goes to ask him, but as I said, why? Why do you want this so badly? I mean, you're only a kid. And then Izuku responds with, I mean, well, life's been pretty shitty up till now, so I just thought maybe if I can achieve so-called immortality, well, maybe I'll live long enough to see some happiness. And, well, he explains, his life story, his parents, Shivago. Elaine says she's the last of her kind, charged with protecting this, explains how it fuels the forest, and that, kind of says, to Deku, if the forest were ever to be destroyed or I killed, I would want you to drink that and survive and live on. Pretty much they stay together for a year, surviving together in a brother and sister relationship. So any shippers up till now, get out probably is best thing. Getting out is probably the best thing to do right now. So, yeah. He starts calling a big sis, but eventually, all good things cannot last, and eventually, some people who have heard of the Fountain of Youth are searching for it. Some villains, one with a fire quirk, one with a laser beam quirk, of a similar thing of sorts. He pretty much fires through a finger gun. The beam is similar to Ayama's, but more deadly and all. He pretty much shoots it through a finger gun, and he ends up trying to shoot. The guy with the fire quirk burns down the forest, and the one with the laser quirk, shoots Deku, but Elaine jumps in front, and he pretty much cries out, "Big sis, no." I'm not gonna yell for emphasis, because my parents are, well, they might hear, and that's kind of annoying. I don't need to be explaining what I'm doing. Pretty much he still gets a bit of the hit, but Elaine takes most of it, and he pretty much rushes over to the Fountain of Youth, grabs it, grabs the cup, the gauntlet, I think. No, goblet. That's what it's called. Goblet. Brings it back to find Elaine has died. He yells pretty much here. In this year, he has been learning how to use a 3-section staff with his quirk, because Bon, that's what Bon uses. So he's gonna use it. Pretty much, he pulls it to him and yells, "You killed Big Sis," and then he realizes, wait, she said something about if she ever dies or the forest is destroyed, she thought he should have it, and she was like, "Huh? Oh wait, I think I'm good to drink this." It's what Big Sis would have wanted, for me to live on, and eventually find happiness. Which he pretty much chugs it. The guy that was after the villain was like, "You're gonna regret that, kid," and he shoots him through the stomach. Through the chest and stomach, pretty much a massive gaping hole, but it heals at the same rate as Bon. It heals, and well, the hunter's like, "Oh, I see her now," because he wasn't 100% sure how the immortality would work, but he now realizes that's how it works. It's pretty much hyper regeneration. He thinks he can regenerate from just about anything, but then thinks, hey, now that he's drunk it, surely it's in the kid's blood, and he's like, oh wait, if I destroy the head, maybe I can do it. He shoots the head, and well, it completely heals, and well, he thinks, oh, well, his kid's gonna kind of immortal, unkillable, and but then he hears Deku yell out "Snatch," and his heart gets ripped out of his chest into Deku's hand, and Deku crushes it, and the guy dies. Now, the other guy pretty much comes to see what's going on, and sees that his comrade is dead, and this kid is... The Fountain of Youth is empty, and this kid has killed his friend. Izuku kills this guy as well, but he kills the guy as well, but he kind of does it with ease, without hesitation. He's not going to become a villain. He will become a hero to the best of his ability. But that's not always going to be easy, because generally, he's a slightly villainous quirk and stuff, and he's killed people, which is usually bad thing in the eyes of heroes. But at the time, he just doesn't care. He still wants to become a hero, but at the time, he just doesn't care and he kills them. Now, he kind of buries his big sis now, saying, "May you rest in peace." And, well, he's 13 now, but he has lost so much. But he decides that he will head back to his home. But he finds that it's been destroyed and people are building over it. And he realizes that he has no place to go. So he decides, because he was friends with Bakugo before his fall, and he remembers where his house is, and he decides, he hasn't seen Bakugo in, he's 13 now, can't do the math, 9 years. He hasn't seen Bakugo in 9 years, and he decides, well, maybe at least they'll take me in and help me. And he goes to where he remembers Bakugo's house being, and he knocks on the door, and Mitsuki opens it, and she says, "Izuku, is that you? What the hell happened to you?" Because his clothes are kind of ragged, and, he hasn't seen them in 9 years, and all Mitsuki knew was that his mother and father died, they didn't, and that Izuku had been adopted. Izuku, she invites Izuku in, and he pretty much says, "Can I please?" He kind of sees Bakugo. Bakugo's like, "Deku, where the hell were you all those years? What the hell happened?" Pretty much Izuku drops his knees and begs them, "Please, I need a place to stay." And she's like, "Well, can you at least explain what happened to you?" And he explains, pretty much, and he says, "Okay, sure." And he says, "But what exactly do you want me to explain?" And they say, "Well, start from the start." Bakugo says, "I left when the day my quirk awakened. I left to go get my quirk checked by the quirk doctor. But I never saw you again. Start from what happened after I left." He explained everything: his dad, mom, Shivago, the Fountain of Youth, which kind of shocks them. But he leaves out the part where he killed them, and just kind of says that he died, villains attacked, but he gained immortality. Doesn't say the part where he killed the people, as I said, and, well, they kind of let him stay there. They ask him, "What are you gonna do?" And he says he wants to become a hero and go to UA. So they decide to re-enter him in Bakugo's. They enter him in Bakugo's middle school. And he pretty much becomes the new kid, and he's the new kid there. But they know Bakugo has ties to him, so they don't mess with him because, well, I mean, he's friends with the walking terrorist. That's definitely a good name for Bakugo, and accurate. He's a walking explosion, very terroristy. But he eventually makes some friends, and even makes friends with, let's say, Asui. And eventually they become great friends, and the three of them are, when they're 14, nearly 15, he's pretty much become the adopted, he keeps the name Izuku Midoriya, but he is pretty much Bakugo's adopted brother at this point, and Bakugo views him as such, as well as pretty much everyone else. And in the end, the three of them want to go to, the teacher says, with the career choices, he knows that everyone wants to become heroes. And Bakugo says, "Don't lump us in with these these B-listers, these D-listers. There's only two of us. There's only me and Deku that can become that can get into UA, that can become real heroes, and get to UA. And I mean, well, and the teacher says, well, actually, there is, while you two are applying, there is also a third student, Asui, that is applying for UA. Bakugo's kind of annoyed at this, but since he knows that those two are pretty good friends, and honestly, even he ships them, he kind of says, fine. He accepts it, surprisingly, but only because of Deku. And he doesn't call him Deku. He calls him by. Well, actually, he kind of starts going by the name Barn, which he kind of came up with when he kind of came up with about a month after moving in with Bakugos, and everyone just eventually started calling him Barn. And eventually, his name legally got changed to Barn Shivago Midoriya Bakugo. So two middle names being Shivago and Midoriya, and Bakugo being his last name. But everyone just called him Barn because that was easiest. He tried not to show off his immortality, and pretty much didn't show it off at all. And no one really knew about it until he eventually confided shortly before the events that are occurring right now in the story. He confided in Asui, like, all his backstory. She was like, oh my god, pretty supportive of him, no, but this will be becoming a canon within the story ship. Actually, not official canon, but for this, it will be the ship, because every story needs a ship for Deku. Or we can have a harem, just leave it in the comments. Harem or ship. Heck, I can even do yaoi ship if you wish. But getting back to this, the sludge villain attack happens, but pretty much Deku manages to dodge, and using his three section staff, manages to hit the eye. Sludge villain kind of collapses a bit. All Might yells, "I am here," and pretty much congratulates him on holding his own against the villain. And asks him, "What's your quirk?" And Deku explains Snatch, and he even asks All Might, even with a quirk that seems a bit villainous, like his, because it can be used for crime, can he become a hero? All Might says, if used in a certain way, any quirk can probably be villainous, but it's all up to the user. Yes, you can become a hero, and Azuka kind of walks off satisfied, and the whole sludge villain attack does not happen. But he was walking with Bakugo, and they kind of post asked him that question. He was, because, I mean, they're pretty much brothers now. Yay. I guess yay for Deku. He kind of has new family. Family number, what is this? Family number 4. That's not great. We will not be killing off, for now at least, we will not be killing off Mitsuki or Bakugo's father, unless you guys want that. But that's kind of leading Deku towards a villainous path, if you want even them to die. Heck, maybe even Bakugo can die, and he can become a villain, if you wish. But I doubt that, because I don't see the point in doing that. Because story probably has a lot of potential, so I don't think I'll ever do that. But you never know. Audience opinion is always a thing. But back to, as I was saying, Yeah, the 10 months of training. Mirio, wait. Later on, All Might says, actually, later on, a completely random attack. Bakugo does get attacked, but not by the sludge villain. Pretty much, um, similar to the sludge villain. Like, he's trying to possess his body or something. But, and Deku shows bravery pretty much, and All Might comes to him after it's all over and says, "Do you want to inherit my quirk?" He says no, confides him about his immortality and actually kind of everything, but says there is a better user, and he recommends Asui. Now, if you do not want Asui to get it, then that's completely fine. I can do that. I can live with that. But if you do want her, it's just say yeah, whatever I was saying. Just had to deal with a parent. But I will end it off here, and in the next video we will be getting into the entrance exam. Leave your thoughts in the comments on just anything throughout the what if, any mistakes I've made, timeline or plot, I will fix it. And this is Xoku Anime, signing out.